Today I had the moment to sit down and talk to senior wide receiver Gregory Phillips about being a student athlete, being a part of a fraternity, and his life plans after college.
Gregory Phillips, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
So, how are you feeling this season?
I'm feeling pretty good. Of course, I want to be undefeated, but we're 2-2, and I think the biggest part we can improve on is just coming together and finishing the game.
Now tell me, what's the difference between this season and last season, especially with the new facilities and the new coaches that you guys have?
I think defense, they're running different schemes. For offensively, of course, we pass the ball a lot more and run it not as much as we used to do. So I think just following the coach's plan is probably the best thing that we're doing right now, and just playing fast and knowing the playbook is also imperative as well.
So, you mentioned running and passing. Do you guys consider yourself more of a running team or a passing team or a little bit of both? Did you guys decide to focus on your defense or your offense, or was it a mixture of both? Like, how was that?
I think a mixture of both wins the game for both of us. If we're able to throw the ball, then we should be able to run the ball. If we're able to run the ball, then we're going to be able to have play action, which actually helps us in the pass game. So they both go hand in hand.
So how does it feel to walk in the shoes of D'Angelo Yancey? He's the former wide receiver who is now in the NFL. How does it feel to kind of step up and take on that role?
It feels actually really good, just to know that I'm the top receiver and the ball should be coming my way. So it feels great, and just the pressure is on my back, and I just want to perform. And whatever ball comes my way, just catch the ball.
So what do you do to prepare yourself for big games? Anything you do in particular? Any strategies? And how do you handle a loss?
Um, so how I prepare for a game? I prepare for a game by I listen to Deshaun. He's a good artist from Atlanta, Georgia, like me. Listen to his music because his music talks to me. I don't know, he says particular things that motivates me to do better on the field. And the night before the game, I normally take a shower, stretch, roll out, do some different things that keep me active. So when I go to sleep, when I wake up in the morning, I'm fresh. I feel great. My legs are loose. And tough games, preferably not to talk to anybody. I like to just be alone and get all my emotions out before I do anything or say anything crazy to anybody, because when you lose and you are very passionate of the game, then it hurts you.
Now, you mentioned Atlanta, Georgia. Is that where you found your passion for football growing up?
Actually, playing in college was not my ideal. Of course, I wanted to go to college, but what motivated me was the passion of my stepdad. He passed away my freshman year, and after he passed away, I just took everything a little more serious, and I thought I was going to be a track star, but I started playing football, and it worked out for me very well with me catching the ball, running routes. So I stuck to it, and once I stuck to it, I developed a love for it that I can't explain, and just kept wanting to get better and growing, so I stuck to it.
Did you get that passion from your stepfather, or was he a football player or an athlete? Did he kind of motivate you? How did he affect you, in your decision to play sports?
He wasn't a football player or an athlete, but he had faith in me and everything that I did. And for me, when I was growing up, my dad wasn't really in my life, and I didn't want to accept my stepdad, so that was my way of accepting him, by going harder in everything that I do.
You mentioned you spend your free time reading to children. How did you get involved in that? How often do you do it, and why did you choose, to read to children?
I love kids, and I love lifting as I climb. The further I go up, I want to take somebody else with me. I want to mentor kids. I want to be able to do things that help inspire them, so when they know that when things get rough, they have somebody to look up to, they have somebody to call on, they have somebody to ask advice. So it's just different things like that just, you want to continue to improve, and not just yourself, but for everybody. The kids under you, they need something to look up to. They need an example. They need something to, follow. So I love reading the kids.
Now, you mentioned being part of a fraternity. What fraternity are you part of?
Omega Psi Phi. Hurry up.
So how do you balance being an athlete, a student, and a part of a fraternity? They're all very time-consuming roles. How do you handle that?
It's definitely hard to balance being the vice president of a fraternity, the captain of a football team, and having academics. But I would say the best thing is take one thing at a time. And when you take one thing at a time, you're able to break it down. You're able to focus on, I put my complete focus on one thing. So let's say if I have a frat business to take care of, I put my complete focus on that. And if I have everything on one day, I just take it one thing at a time.
You mentioned being the vice president of your fraternity, being the captain of the football team. As a leader, how do you carry yourself on campus? I know people might look up to you. How do you carry yourself?
I try to just have integrity with everything I do, and if I know I don't want somebody else doing it, and if I tell them don't do it, then I shouldn't be doing it as well, because it's the things that when somebody's not looking at you, that's when you're supposed to have the integrity. So I try to just do everything the right way and just have fun, you know. Don't really have a lot of pressure when you do stuff, because when you do, then that's when you stress yourself out. You don't do things appropriately. You don't do it to the best of your ability. You don't reach your full potential. So I just try to just take one thing at a time and balance everything out.
If you can give some advice to a young athlete or somebody who wants to pursue a career in sports, or even someone who wants to just attend college, what advice would you give to them, especially with you being a leader?
My advice would be, if you're not passionate about it, don't do it. If you're going to go hard, but if you're not, then don't do it. Don't waste your time, and don't waste the coach's time either, because, you know, you're messing with their lives, and there's always coaching changes, and they have to move from one area to another area. So if you're going to do something, do it full out and have courage behind it, have faith, and have fun doing it.
So what are your plans after college? Do you plan to continue your education, go into the workforce, or continue your career and hopefully go into the NFL? What are your plans for after college, since this is your senior year?
I really want to take my college career to professional career. That's been my goal ever since after my stepdad passed. So I'm going to work towards that, and depending on if that works out, possibly get a job. And the job I really want is probably Zimmer Biomet. So I have backup plans, but if I don't go hard enough for my plan A, then that means my backup plan shouldn't matter. So I'm just sticking to football right now, and then everything else will figure itself out.
Sounds like a plan. Well, that's all the time I have with you. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, and it's been great talking to you.